Confident, carefree, fearless, and focused. If I'm not CCFF, I don't trade. Period. If I didn't sleep well, don't trade. If you didn't eat a good breakfast, or if you didn't work out, you didn't pray, don't trade. First of all, wait. Don't be early on a day like this. You'll get run over. You'll get destroyed. Fortunes are not made in gambling like that. Fortunes are made in waiting for the market to come back in and then, trading your process. If you don't have a plan to trade this, don't trade it. But it was interesting listening to Craig talk about, everybody's got a different consensus. When the banks wanted to come in or the funds wanted to come in and they just wanted to buy them, they bought them. And yesterday we saw that they bought them. And oftentimes that made me think that oftentimes the numbers would leak or somebody knew the numbers in advance and the market would rally or the market would break in front of it. So, I don't know how bad the number needs to be in order for us to turn around and take out the overnight high at 6530 in the S&P, 6531 and 23,800. Just because they came in and bought it at the end of the day doesn't mean that the number leaked out or that people know what they're doing. It just means that they could have been covering some shorts because it looked like we were topping last week. Well, we didn't. Does that mean that we turn around and rally 150 points from here? Or does it mean that we break from here? Who knows? It's anybody's guess. And I'm not going to grab a pair of dice and roll them against the wall and hope I don't crap out. I'm going to let volume come back in. I'm going to trade my process. I'm going to trade my plan. And if there's nothing to do today, it's more important for me to live to fight another day than it is for me to try to make my fortune today on Capital Preservation Friday.
So right on, my brother. Going back to the principles of learning how to scratch a trade is so important. I think what it taught me more than anything was not to hesitate on getting out when a market was at a price that I no longer wanted to own it. And I think that that's like a trained skill, because I think most traders freeze. Like when I started trading the S&P, it didn't move not like it does today. So a lot of times it was like if you bought them and it'd go your way and then you'd come back. I wasn't even looking at charts. I was using, just the keyboard. It was like, okay, I just had 10 ticks and now it's a scratch. What do I do, right? And the thought process is, and what you guys will see PAX today when we get to the regular trading hours open, is there's no hesitancy in there. And that's one of the most important things I learned as a trader. It's why I probably traded so much, was because I became almost a little too loose. That door moved a little bit too much with me. But nonetheless, is like to this day, it's I never, the minute something's not working, I never even think, or a half a second, there's no thought in my mind. I just get out of it. And that to me is an edge in its own right. And I know that a lot of people, they'll put their stops in there and they'll move them and they'll do things. And, we see our guys on this network, they're so amazing how they stay true to their stops and the stop automatically gets them out. I always put a little bit of a buffer to my stop, and then I manually get out just because I've trained myself so often to do that. I have a zone where, because I don't want to get one ticked. So I buffer the stop a little bit, and then, I'll put it in there. The stop is more of a blowout stop for me than it is anything. But nonetheless, I think one of the skills that if someone asked me, what could I take from the pit to help modern day electronic traders, is to remove hesitancy. Is when you get the edge, as Pax is saying, I don't know how much of an edge it is in NASDAQ or S&P as much these days, but in the bond market, it's definitely an edge, is that when you fill the bid, you get filled on the bid or the offer, if you don't want that and that price is there, the minute it doesn't go your way, you're out. And I think that's when I think of Mickey Hoffman and I think of what we learned, that's what that taught me.
We're traders. We're not money managers. And this is part of the poll that I had yesterday is it more important to manage risk to a long-term profitable trading career? Is it more important to manage risk or is it more important to manage profit? My supposition, it's more important to learn how to manage profit. Managing risk will get you to a break-even trader or under, a slightly negative trader to break even. But managing profit, that's what's going to learning how to manage profit is what's going to make you profitable, and learning how to exploit your profit by adding to your positions, that's what's going to make you financially free.
It's funny, people take care of their money more than their health. And when they start focusing so much on like holding on to like trying to regain losses, they start deteriorating their health. There's so many things that psychologically that trading will pull out of you in your life that if you're not careful, it could be pretty dangerous for you. I mean, I had a heart attack at 36 years old in my trading screens. I thought I was fine. What I internalized over for many years of doing it, that's why I don't day trade as much anymore. But it's a very difficult business, and again, people get so fixated on like that guy. He probably can't let go of the loss of that money, and that's the only thing he thinks about. And he's just so tied to it now that he just can't see straight. I mean, that's why I'm hoping that you and I, we shed some light with some people and understand that, like, you and I, we do put health and family first over everything. And I don't care if I miss a trade ever again. I mean, it's like no big deal to me. But we've seen enough. We've seen people die. We've seen people get sick. We've seen people leave the business. And ultimately, at the end of the day, what's more important is your life, your family, and your health, and go and live it. So when you get into trading, I think that's why it's so important to be in a good place when you come to this business, because if not, it will exploit every bad thing in your life in ways that you never thought it could, and I've just seen it too many times firsthand.
We have to really be on top of our game emotionally, spiritually, and mentally. We'll talk more about this after the open. But if we're not, then we've got no business trading. If I'm not confident, carefree, fearless, and focused, then I've got no business being involved in the market. Confident, carefree, fearless, and focused. If I'm not CCFF, I don't trade. Period. If I didn't sleep well, don't trade. If you didn't eat a good breakfast, or if you didn't work out, you didn't pray, don't trade. There's always going to be another trade. There's always, as Tanya says, always another bus. Wait for that next bus. No point in banging your head against the wall and self-flagellating. I'm not worthy. I'm not worthy. You're beating yourself with whips. No good. You'll kill yourself. You'll be like that
For the
guy
record,
Tom
I
Fun-
tell him all the time, for the record, when he's working out, I'm always telling him to do more leg day. He's got Irish legs, and that's why he's always wearing pants to these meetups.
Hey, I want to finish that thought real quick. So, when you're in a personal fast market and somebody comes over to you and says, "Hey, you're in a personal fast market," you don't want to hear that. Even though you might be over trading and chopping yourself up, nobody wants to hear that, but you need to hear it. You need to hear it. So take it easy. This market isn't going anywhere. We can break 100 points, let it break without you. You don't need to spend any more money than what you already have in it. Take your loss and move on to the next trade or move on to the next day. And right now, there is no next trade. The market's not doing anything. Don't spend any more money than what you already have. Move on to later in the day. Maybe there's a late day trade, but next week we're going to start rollover. We got CPI. We are going to be busy from now until the end of the year. It doesn't mean that you got to make back your money today. Just take it easy and watch, right? See what I mean? You got to make sure that you're here for those easy days. Today is not easy. So you sit and you wait. And by the way, anybody that tells you that they make money every day is full of garbone. Nobody makes money every day. Money comes in bunches. There's going to be times where the market is rocking and rolling and you're on top of it. You've got the Midas touch. You're rolling along, singing a song. You're adding the positions and everything is working because the market is trading, your process, the strengths of your process is trading, lights out. If you're a scalper, this is a scalper's delight. I'm not a scalper. I scalp in positions, but I'm not a scalper. The money comes in bunches. Nobody makes money every day except for the people that are, busy showing off their fancy cars because getting paid by affiliate marketing things. Just take it easy. Take your expenses and move on to later in the day or move on until Monday. You got to make sure that you survive. And if you sit here and chop yourself up in a market like this, you won't survive very long. Anybody actively trading today got chopped up. Nobody's making money unless you happen to get lucky.
Yep.
So take your expenses and move on to tomorrow or Monday. That's it. That's my advice.
This presentation is for educational purposes only. All of the symbols, trading ideas, and live trading are for demonstrational purposes and are not recommendations or trading advice. Past performance may not be indicative of future results. All of the information and opinions expressed by third-party guests are their own and are not necessarily those of NinjaTrader, LLC. Trading futures involves substantial risk and may not be suitable for everyone, and trading futures can result in losses greater than the initial required margin. Traders should only trade futures with risk capital. Risk capital is money that you can afford to lose without jeopardizing your financial security or current lifestyle. You can find additional disclosure information on the NinjaTrader website.